So today, am I sharing? Yes, I am. Today, October the 28th. So oh my goodness, almost Halloween, almost Thanksgiving, almost year end. Can you believe that? It has been like this so fast. I would like to propose again a meditation. This time, let's try to focus on folks that we know they need some healing energy, like Lori and anyone, Maureen, and so many beloved ones. But in general, I have difficulties trying to name someone specifically because I start thinking about my beloved ones, and then I think about a community of people that needs help. But anyway, I guess it's not up to us as long as we hold the feeling. We hold that love that Lynn was talking about in our heart. So the spirits, they will know what to do with that vibration, right? With that energy. So I will play the music, and I will just say few words, some prayers, and that'll be it. So let's take a moment to be very quiet. Try to quiet your mind, not paying attention to the thoughts. So this is our moment to pray. Let's just close our eyes and relax. First of all, let's invite the higher beings, the spirits of light, the spirits helping God in this huge work that's completely based on love. Let's invite our guardians, our mentors, the beloved ones that would like to join us today. Dear Lord, the world faces a very, very hard moment, very difficult times. Fortunately for us, we share peace. We have our houses, our families. We have food on the table. But so many do not have that, do not have those blessings. And a lot of that is due to pride, selfishness, angry, anxiety, grief. So let's vibrate, feel this love for the whole humanity, and ask the higher beings to collect this energy and take it to those in need of a touching love, in need of companionship, help, healing energy, peace. God, there is so much lack of light in the world today. Help us to remove the blindfold of vanity from our eyes, which prevent us from seeing our moral deformities and our smallness in the face of your greatness. Help us break through this shell of selfishness that paralyzes our hands and prevents us from extending our arms to help our brothers and sisters. Help us to dilute this mask of arrogance so that we can understand that we are nothing without your love. Teach us, Father, to build bridges of understanding, to strengthen bonds of friendship, to understand others, to love. Help us to admit our own fragility, freeing us from this arrogance, ignorance, building gardens, spreading perfume, wiping away tears, walking with courage, believing in life and in your unconditional love, spreading hope, always smiling, forgiving without conditions. And finally, Lord, help us to turn our gaze to the stars, even if our feet are still soaked in mud. May the higher beings here with us today gather our vibration, the energy that we humbly and kindly offer today. May this energy shower upon all those we pray for, all the names crossing our hearts right now, all the names crossing our minds. May this energy heal, protect, and help them to overcome the challenges they face right now, and to recover from their sorrow, pain, and suffering. And so be it. All right. Okay, so today, talking about all the blessings that we have. I have something to share. I have a friend visiting today. She's arriving today, and she will stay until tomorrow. So because of that reason, I'll have to stop our meeting by 4 sharp, and because she'll arrive pretty soon, at any moment. So but I was traveling this week to work, and I arrived, just Friday, and no, I arrived Thursday, and I was working on Friday, and I was so tired, but I had to, do all the things that a host do, clean the house, blah 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 blah, grocery store. But I was exhausted, especially because I didn't sleep very well during the week. The couple besides my room in the hotel, they were fighting a lot, and she was crying. It was like 3:48 a.m. and she was crying, and anyway, so I got to a point that I just sat and I was praying for all of us to have some rest. But anyway, so Friday, Thursday night, I was just, in bed, and I was praying, and I asked God to give me some strength and energy, because I had, I had somebody visiting, and I wanted to do everything okay, etc., etc. But because of work, I was exhausted. So, and then it was fine. So I was just waiting, while I was watching the movie or something, when I felt somebody touching my hand, using my hand. I just felt somebody using my hand, but I could not feel my hand moving. If that is possible. Somebody was using the hand, but I could not feel the hand moving. So, and I was laying my head over, my arm, and then I felt I felt something, like touching my head. Well, I was surprised, but the next day, which was yesterday, I was surprised with this flower. And not only this, it was a lot of places, in the garden, in my backyard. This flower, I swear, there was nothing there. And the color was so vibrant, was so full of energy. And I was so happy, because to me, it was my message saying, yeah, we are here with you, Evidently, the energy will have to come from me, but that was like assuring me that I have companionship, I have people around me, and they'll take care of things, everything will be fine. So that's why I like to share this today, is about faith. And like Matthew said in his book, ask and you shall receive. I have no doubt that, every time that we ask, from the bottom of our heart, with faith, that will be there, we shall receive. So we do have a winner. I will not share today, because I didn't have time to prepare this, but we do have a winner. Okay, so next Saturday we can talk about it. And we are reading the chapter 11, Law of Justice, Love, and Charity. We stop right here. How can justice be defined? Is it natural? I mean, we didn't stop here, but one of the topics that we discussed last week was that, definition of justice and whether or not it's natural. And the answer was, it is so natural that you are immediately appalled by the idea of an injustice. It is in the book, the Spirit's book, the question A73. And then the next question now to the group is, if the law of justice is something natural, why do people understand it so differently? why we have a different conception, a different definition about justice.
Perhaps custom, feeling, what you're used to, what goes on. And within yourself, do I like the person or not? I don't really care if they get into bad things. I mean, formally, before you are enlightened and understand what this is all about. But I think that basically people feel they know what is right. They know an injustice when they see it, I think.
Mm-hmm. So
but it's different cultures and different,
yeah, I agree.
Different customs.
Definitely is a point. Yes, Len, thank you. Thank you.
Look, in this incarnation, we're products of our past, our culture, traditions, etc. Although a feeling of justice, usually within the soul and heart, is innate, but you still are products of your cultures, your past, religions, etc. There's a whole bunch of influencing factors that go into your ultimate product of your views of justice in this incarnation. I think I had a quick point about asking. You said before, you can never ask enough to the other side, the spirit of the universe. People don't realize that. We have a spiritual circle here local now in Buffalo. We get together and I keep telling, ask. I'm always asking. People don't ask enough. You can never ask enough. The other side, the spirit world, the universe. Never.
That's true. That's true.
I'm done.
Yeah. Thank you, Len. Gloria.
Good one, Len. I think we're socialized not to trust our feelings. And we feel, like it says, naturally what's right and wrong. And materialism sets up laws to protect materialism. And so, and materialism disregards feelings and really and truly the rights of a lot of people, which is why I see, two tiers in the legal system, for example. I see a lot of injustice, like
convenience.
Yeah. And again, it's set up to protect materialism. And even as a child, I could feel that things were unfair. And yet, what was being demonstrated for me, it really challenged me as a child, because I could see grown-ups doing things that I thought were terribly unfair, and it was okay in the society because the guidelines, the rules, the laws were all set up to protect materialism.
Yeah, convenience. Yeah, agree. Good point. Thank you, Gloria. Hi, Sim.
Yes, when I was doing my esoteric workshop, it was 30 years ago. Norma said, this was the guide, that the ascended masters keep saying, we're underemployed here. You're not asking. Ask and we are here. We're not asking. We're underemployed.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Thank you. Len.
For a long time, this group has always talked about all the forms of love, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, etc. But there's one that's right up there with love as far as human traits that are extremely important. Courage.
Absolutely, yes.
Because if you quote, many historians consider Sir Winston Churchill the greatest person of the 20th century. And he said, If one has courage, all of the human qualities follow. All of the human qualities follow. We talk about justice, love, courage. Think about it, all the times we go through this incarnation when you need courage. That
Mhm.
is so, so important. And we never talk about that.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
And
Good
that is to
point.
go with justice and action to fight injustice. Courage.
Yep. Thank you, Claudia.
Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gloria.
Because Lynn brought it up, I've got a quote, because my son and I discussed this quote this week. This is by Maya Angelou, and I love this quote. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without it, we can't practice any other virtue with consistency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of the
And
human
If
qualities
we're going to
follow.
spread the light, it takes courage to spread the light. We've got to be vulnerable. That takes courage.
it is very important. I agree. But that courage has to go along with wisdom. So there is a quote from William Churchill, and I have in my kitchen so I can see every day, that it says courage is something that make you stand up and talk, but also something that makes you to sit down and listen. So there is time, and sometimes ego will never allow us to listen.
Think of, if I may add one thing, think of all the people in all these spiritual circles, all the people we know in the afterlife, and what they have to face regarding the traditional religions, etc., cultures in the world. That those groups of people, like in this group, have courage. You put yourself out there. Like Wendy, about a year ago, she says, well, do you talk to your family or friends about the afterlife and all the spiritual circles? Everybody said, well, I don't talk to this one about it. I don't talk to that one. So then she asked me. And I said, I told the world. I published all these books. I told the world. And it takes courage. Do you get hit? Sure. There's a lot of criticism that comes up, the ignorance, the arrogance, the downright stupidity, all this you have to fight. But it still comes down to courage, and you put yourself out there. It's as simple as that. Because when you know the truth, it doesn't matter what people think. In your heart, if you know the truth, it doesn't matter what others think.
Yep. Thank you. Hi, Cynthia.
Except that in today's world, you shut up because you have children in college, you have a mortgage to pay, etc., etc. That's the big problem.
I'm
today.
retired.
There,
That's,
exactly.
that's what a lot of my colleagues in medicine and science said. They said, all these specialists said, if we started talking about the afterlife, deathbed, visions, etc., a lot of my colleagues wouldn't refer patients to me.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is a situation.
I'm retired.
Yeah. In regards to that, I would like to recall the courage that Allan Kardec had when he decided to publish the book. Remember, he didn't believe in none of this, but in the process, he came to the conclusion that it was a truth that nobody could deny, and he knew all the resistance. He knew all the roadblocks and people that would try to demoralize him, but he accepted the risk. And Hi, Cynthia, you want to say something, or?
Oh, I should have taken my hand.
Okay, Lynn.
There was, go ahead.
Jesus, messenger of love, magnificent messenger of love for this planet. But he also had great courage, because all the religious Jewish leaders, Jesus is telling them, look, Mother and Father God automatically forgive you for your sins. So there's no need for the repentance, forgiveness, etc. It's automatic. And then the Jewish leaders are going to say, hey, then the people don't need us. What do they need us for? So, and he went against, and that's why the Jewish leaders, we got to get rid of this guy. So, but think of, they talk about Jesus, the messenger of love, and it was a magnificent messenger of love. But think of the courage he had to go up against all these Jewish leaders. And they were like, you know, they always had the power. Remember, the people were illiterate. They couldn't read or write. And so whatever the Jewish leaders said, the religious leaders, that was like law, basically the truth. So, and he was going against that. They forget about
yeah,
his
he
courage.
was
Yes, but Jesus was Jesus. He was very special, and he knew it.
he knew it. He knew it. And he knew also who to share certain information and who not. So he was not I mean, there are several particularities that sometimes he was speaking to one of the apostles, but not the other. And, you know, and so he was very,
Now,
I mean, that's wisdom. That's
we
Jesus.
had a conversation a few months ago about Chico and the courage he had, and Luis talked about it too in Brazil. He had to go up against the Roman Catholic Church and everything that they were, and he always, how would we say, encountered the Roman Catholic Church with more love and love. That's how he was able to conquer a lot of what the resistance, I think the word is resistance, he had to put up with in Brazil. I mean, Luis could expound upon it much better than I can.
Yeah, he not only overcame those challenges and resistance, but he also got the respect from the church. Several people from the church did like him a lot. So that's something.
That's allies, very important allies.
Yeah. Debbie, please.
I just wanted to say that I went and I'd heard about this After Death movie, which you guys might have heard of it. I found it on Sandra Champlain. And so I went to see it with my husband yesterday, who my husband would normally not want to see anything like that. And it's only because I have this post-surgical foot that he went in there with me, you know, because I can't get around well. And it made a difference. I felt like, you know, he came to believe a lot of the things that we believe. I just had to mention that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was.
What was the name of the movie?
After Death. Yeah, it's in theaters. It's by this. I got it on Sandra Champlain. She sends me emails all the time, and so that's where I found like the show times in your area. And so it's right now it's in the United States and Canada, but it will be going to other countries too. It's mostly about, you know, near-death experience, which I told him about. I even went to that conference and he was like, oh, forget it. But
it's in the movie theaters still, or?
Yeah, it started yesterday here in Fairfax.
Woohoo, I have something to do tonight. I'm gonna check that out. I will check that out.
Oh yeah, it was great. And I guess what I also had a couple of the negative ones, which that's something that you never hear of, that you don't hear about as much. And so that was good for me to see that too.
Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. All right, guys, good discussion. So the question is, if natural, love, justice, love, and charity, why do people understand it so differently? And the answer from the Spirit's book. It is because your passions often mingle with this sentiment and corrupt it, as they do with most natural sentiments, causing you to see things from a false point of view. Again, that's convenience. I guess everybody was touching a little bit of this. The next one is, but then what is the basis of justice according to natural law? What do we think the basis for justice is? I know. Go ahead, Debbie.
All men are created equal. That's one basis.
Yeah, that's very good. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Linda, you said something?
No, sorry.
No. So evidently, I have to say that, you know, like Len was saying at the beginning, love is the base, is the foundation for everything, right? So it's one thing.
Just a thought that we say God punished us. We do something and God punished. And what I have come to understand is God doesn't punish. What you do has a natural result.
Yep. Law. It's another law. Cause and consequence.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what the answer is. The basis of justice according to natural law. Jesus told you, do unto others as you would have others to do unto you. So Debbie was spot on. God could not give us a safer guide than our own conscience. So it is in there. It's built in there. Claudia.
There are people with no conscience, I swear to you.
Yeah.
They are in darkness, Gloria.
True.
Exactly. That's a problem. We have to remember, guys, this is a world of trial and atonement. So darkness is still among us, right? Len.
There's volumes of literature on the afterlife about the dark entities. They have no light, the cruelty. They go on all the negative aspects. And Earth, which is the toughest school in the universe, we have with physical challenges, the mental challenges. They have the highest concentration. There's a lot of literature on this, of the dark and gray entities. And we are, as the white entities who have a conscience, who have morality, who have goodness within their heart and soul and love, they have to learn how to survive amongst evil and recognize evil. There's a lot of literature on this. And yes, there's a lot of people out there who would, without the light, dark entities, gray entities, the false heart, who basically are cruel, will use others. They're all into the money, the greed, etc. Power. What do people with power want? More power. So this is why we come here. We're the brave white entity souls. We come here to the toughest school in the universe. Yeah. So ultimately, when we graduate, when the school bell goes off, we graduated. We really got out of a tough camp here. So we should be very proud of ourselves. There's a lot of literature on this. The Sylvia Browns, Michael Lute on this. There's tons of literature on the dark entities, the grays, the whites, etc. Our books, there's tons of literature on this. But
You know what you said, Lynn. Sorry, Gloria, is quick. When what you said reminded me something when I was in a church, and then I was taught how to pray. And the way that we were praying was, just to get off, get away from those darkness, from evil, etc., etc. And when I started reading Allan Kardec, I realized that evil and dark entities, etc., they're nobody else but somebody like me that didn't have the same opportunity, maybe, or didn't have the same understanding as I do. So I like logic, and I use logic to understand that. What is darkness? Lack of light. What is love? Comes from the light.
Light.
So darkness is just lack of light, lack of love.
This is an extremely important thesis. We are judged by the universe, the other side, the spirit world, on our actions in our incarnations. That's how we are judged, by our actions in our incarnations.
And thoughts.
So,
And
thoughts, yeah.
And thoughts.
So today, when I pray, I don't say, get away from evil, etc., etc. I just say, let's help them. They need help desperately. And let's take them, to a school that is more adequate and prepare to receive those guys, better prepared to receive those guys and help them, teach them moral values, ethics, love, etc., etc. Because evidently,
absolutely,
yeah, because evidently over here, if they insist in the same mistakes, incarnation after incarnation, it's because this school is not the right class room for them to be. Anyway, Gloria, please.
I was thinking about, current situations in the world, and I think individuals who do acts against others that are very harmful or hurtful, it's out of hatred, fear, or very strong beliefs. And those are all things that they've learned, like you said. And if they can be enlightened with additional information, it can counter what they've learned, either by examples of others or actual teaching, which has caused fears, hatred, and strong beliefs. Yeah, that's it's very evident in the world right now. In war, very strong. It's not just greed. Again, greed's another one. It's not just greed. It's also fear, hatred, and strong beliefs.
Yes.
And again, about 3 or 4 or 5 lessons back in Kardec, he actually said, how do you counter that? And it's like you said, through education. In other words, when you know better, you do better. And it's very true that how do we counter fear and hatred and greed and strong beliefs with additional education. Yeah. Like absolutely. enlightenment, light.
Yep.
Because what is it? It was Dr. Martin Luther King. He said, you cannot drive out hatred with more hatred. Only love can do that. Light. Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, love will always conquer over hate. I mean, but I think a lot of these dark entities, the dark souls, they get seduced through their incarnations by the power, the money, the sacrificing others. They actually enjoy that power and greed and money and stature through their incarnations. I think a key word here is they get seduced by it, and then it's just very difficult for them to turn the other way.
So yeah, and I agree with what Gloria said. You know, education will empower those guys to resist, to have the courage to resist, you know, to enlighten and overcome that seduction, I guess. So there is another comment to this question that is, oh, hi, Safe, please.
Yes, it takes understanding on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Justice.
This is what it is. On both sides, it takes understanding.
Justice, yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Luis, Olivia.
Yes, this is a very profound subject to talk about. And of course, the time and the means here are not very adequate for us to go so far. But one thing for us as a food of thought, from all the experiences, all the books I've already read in my life, one of the greatest problems is the darkness that lies within us.
Mm-hmm.
And because of reincarnation, many times this darkness is so deep layered down in our souls that we forget about it. Emmanuel, spirit guide, Chico Xavier, spirit guide, once said, criminals on this planet are all of those who have been unveiled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes,
all of us, we are criminals, but those who have been unveiled, right, are conspicuous, evident. And the point, yes, the point is, Allan Kardec said, when you are an old soul, reincarnation brings some side effects along with the good work that it does, which is forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we forget about our bad deeds very easily, and we very, very, very smart spirits, they just petrify their hearts, and they keep reincarnating to evolve intellectually. Mm-hmm. They will, for many hundreds of years, be very powerful people, intellectually blessed, but they won't touch their hearts for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, the authorities of the planet say, okay, now the level of your heart is so low that you can't belong to this planet anymore. You will go to a primitive planet because your mind, your intellect is up there, but your heart, your humane heart, right, doesn't feel the bill anymore. You will have to go to this planet. So, and then the chain of evolution begins again in another planet, on another planet, because the guys will, right, the spirits will reincarnate there, and they will, you know, relate to themselves to those very primitive beings in terms of what they are in their hearts, very primitive still. So that's why Emmanuel said that evolution in this world, in terms of spiritual evolution, will happen only if we transform our feelings into something much better than we have been feeling these days.
Yeah,
so
you know, Luis, yeah, very, very nice what you said. You know, I used to also think about primitive worlds, you know, going to a lower zone, etc., etc. But today I understand, you know, it's just a school. So when I think about those guys moving to a different place, I'm just thinking, okay, so they are going to a school that suit them better. In the same way, like we are here, I don't think, I mean, I love this planet. So, but I think it's a wonderful school for me, you know, for me to exercise all the things that I need to exercise. And even though I do understand that evidently I'm not enlightened, I have a long way to go, because just because you are in front of the truth doesn't mean the darkness, like you said, is not still within us. Just picture you are in front of this light, this flashlight. What happens to your back? It's darkness. What happens to your armpit is darkness. Where or when darkness will disappear? When you are immersed in light. Right now we are just facing, and perhaps for some of us, at least my case, I guess, for the first time we are understanding what we are seeing. Lots of us see, but not believe, or do not understand, or just refuse. But perhaps for the first time for me, I'm understanding. I start to understand what I'm looking at, meaning I still have a lot of darkness. It's in front of me. I'm not immersed. It's not part of me. Right? Carol, please.
So these spirits that have such a low degree of love in their heart and that are being sent to another planet or another, you know, do they have a choice about going there, or who makes that decision to send these low loving entities to another planet?
Yeah, that I do not know if Louise wants to answer that, but they do not have a choice. If you choose to go to that planet, it's because you are a higher spirit and you're going there to help them out. Like
Yes,
several people decided to reincarnate here on Earth to help us. Go ahead, Louise, please.
yes, the point is there's a certain point, a certain extent of our attitude, our deeds, that the higher authorities of the planet interfere. And when they interfere, well, of course, they are merciful. They will count everything that is possible to reconsider their decision of exiling you on another planet. But this is after, when it happens, if it's after hundreds and hundreds of years of hardening your heart. Well, when Jesus Christ faced the Pharisees, he was facing very religious people that had already been exiled on earth, that used religion to do all kinds of damage to their humanity. And even so, and Jesus said, they have their hearts hardened. Even if they want to, they can't be saved, because we create lots of these people can become encyclopedic people, but they don't touch. Try to sing a song of affection to them. They run away. They can't stand anything related to affection. They can't stand anything related to feelings of love,
Emotions,
family love, right? Because and many of us nowadays are like this. And the studies at university, they prime for this kind of behavior. Our children, everybody, they at university, they are taught this kind of behavior. No feelings, no weakness, right? But this is the hardest point. How can we feel compassion if we can't feel?
Yeah.
And we can only become better if we start feeling compassion towards others, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
long way to go, a long learning curve for us to face. And that's why Emmanuel said that in terms of Christ's teachings, we haven't stepped out of the first stage, and the second stage will be self-knowledge through suffering in the third millennium.
Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I know several people, very intelligent people, very intelligent scientists, and they say, I don't need people. I mean, as long as they are with their families, they don't need them. They don't need people. So what is that, right? Debbie, please.
Well, I just signed. I've like for a month, or less, a few weeks, I've been talking to a Jungian analyst online, and I looked them up because, you know, the psychologist Jung, he talked about the shadow so much, and it's kind of sounds like that's kind of what we're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just trying to find ways to help myself and get rid of mine.
That's very nice. Yeah, I like him. The Red Book from Jung is not an easy one, but it is a very good source, no doubt. Len, please.
Summarizing volumes of literature and time we have here. First of all, free will, as you know, is an axiom in all the universe. So when you meet we all have our specific council of elders in the Hall of Justice on the other side. There's volumes of literature on this and our own. And a lot of discussion takes place regarding your realistic, developing your life chart for an incarnation, your realistic goals in achieving higher spirituality and the love, the gratitude, compassion, forgiveness. We know that. But your choice of planet, I think that's what Carol was referring to, is also discussed too. And if you do incarnate back on Earth, it counts a lot more, that you'll have less incarnations than if you go to an easier planet. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of literature on this. It's your council.
Claudia is happy.
Your council of elders are the ones you discuss this with. We all have specific council of elders in the Hall of Justice. This is volumes of literature on this in our books. And this is what is discussed. Now, I'll give you an example. We had a spiritual circle. Carol knows, our Jennifer transitioned to the other side in August 2022. She had metastatic breast cancer, 70 years of age. Felicia was with her. She went through the tunnel with Felicia and her spirit guide. On the other side, Felicia stayed with her, brought her back 4 times. Felicia, through the many months, 4 times Felicia brought her back. And we have a lot of information that Jennifer gave. One of the things they told her, the Council of Elders told her, that if she incarnated back on Earth, she'd have, instead of she only had 2 incarnations left to graduate. She'd only have to have maybe 1 or 2, but if she went to another planet, she'd have to have more incarnations. So in other words, you get more credit points here when you go to the tough school versus having the easy way out. Go to the other planets, the easy school, all right? But your council of elders, we all have specific council of elders. They're the ones you discuss this with, your life chart, your realistic objectives, for spirituality, and where. That's all with the Council of Elders.
Yeah, this tough school is not for amateurs, for novice. That I'm telling you. Okay, so and the last comment here on this question, the basis of justice according to natural law, is also from the Spirit's book. Universally, human beings have always sought to enforce their personal rights. This is a comment from Allan Kardec. While the unique factor of Christianity is the application of personal rights as the basis of our neighbors. Isn't that awesome? So I would like to finish this with, to finish today's meeting with this thought. So wonderful discussion, guys, as usual. I really enjoy our meetings, good discussions here today. And I know, Lynn, sorry, I will not graduate still, but I hope to get some points.
Here's a question. Does anyone know what incarnation, the incarnation they're in?
Not a
you?
clue.
Never been told.
I'm 62. This is my last one. Felicia was a better student. She was 58. She was a better student than me. My buddy David Wright, he's in his 69th incarnation. And do they have Halloween, by the way, in Brazil? That's the most important question. Now, in honor of Halloween, this is my outfit. This is my outfit for Halloween on Tuesday, and I'll be Indiana Jones and the Groucho Marx.
Cool.
Groucho Marx and Indiana Jones. This is my outfit for Halloween. Do they have Halloween?